Teachings of the false religion. In John 8:44 says, "The devil is the father of lies." Psalms 119:160 says, "The essence of God is truth." Science is the closest resource to the truth. Any religion neglecting or contradicting the fact of natural evolution, that species were developed through an evolutionary process, are against the scientific truth. The Bible doesn't say how God created life. It could perfectly use evolution as a mechanism to create a diversity of life in this planet. John 4:23 and 24 says, "Worship with truth and spirit." 1 Peter 3:19 says, "Jesus preached to the spirits in prison." All types of spiritism are largely forbidden by most churches. Jesus gave us an example that we may follow, as he did, to preach to spirits in pain and in need of love. Religions demonizing all kinds of spiritual practices might not be worshipping with the spirit, but materialistically. Exploring the spiritual realm might be dangerous, yes, but how about the angelical and high vibrational densities? Are we going to prevent positive spirituality in our lives? 1 John 4:8 says, "God is love." Must ignore this fundamental basic concept that God is love at the time of reading the Bible. If the quote you're reading is not loving, it is nothing more than a human interpretation of God. Religions using non-loving text in the Bible are not talking about God, but from a human limited judgment. Legitimate understanding that God is love will completely change Christian religions. Philippians 4:5 says, "Be reasonable." Extremism, fanaticism, and strict unalterable mindsets, rules, or norms are far from reason. John 13:34 and 35 says, "Love starts at home." Any religion separating families or influencing and dictating how direct family members should support and interact, and if they should stay close to each other, are not genuinely teaching to practice love in the household. 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, "Where Jehovah dwells, there is freedom." Respecting everyone's free will is a demonstration of love. Any religion judging and criticizing others' inoffensive behaviors and trying to create rules about conduct and personal life, dictating how people is supposed to live their lives, are disrespecting the free will given by God. God is not present in a religion that is limiting freedom of others and their ability to choose. Matthew 22:38 through 40 says that all the laws are replaced by love. Love God and love your neighbor. Matthew 21:31 says, "Sinners, tax collectors, and prostitutes are ahead in the path to the kingdom of the heavens." Jesus was very clear about this. Largely, most Christian religions harm and judge people because of their sexual practices, sexual orientation, and gender identity, disrespecting their freedom of practicing love and the ethical non-monogamy that is evident in many other accounts in the Bible, such as the example of Sarah and Abraham, Lot, Ruth, King David, and Solomon, all of them practicing ethical non-monogamous relationships. Matthew 7:1 through 6 says, "Don't judge, so you are not judged." Most Christian churches constantly focus their energies on judging others than practicing genuine love and allow others to live their lives without prejudice. Luke 6:27 through 29 says, "Love your enemies and never retaliate." Many religions approve and motivate their followers to join the army and military activities. What if all religions in the world discourage people to participate in military affairs? Do you see a more peaceful world if that happens? 2 Kings 17:17 says that parents were sacrificing their own children to false gods. Any religion encouraging parents to psychologically, physically, or mentally influence them just to follow religious beliefs and rules is showing to be a false God that feeds from innocent suffering and pain. Ephesians 6:12 says, there is a spiritual warfare. Intellectual battles are the spiritual warfare against false religion. There is only one absolute truth, that we all are one. The equivalent of God is love, while absolute lies created by false religion are countless. Again, 1 John 4:8 says, God is love. Matthew 22:38 through 40 says that all laws are replaced by love. Love God and love your neighbor. Jehovah is love. That is the simple and plain concept, not a God of judgment, commandments, and punishment. Matthew 13:49 says that angels will separate good and evil. Religious advocates generally tend to judge others and their lifestyle. It is not our job to judge others, to decide who is just or unjust. That's the job of spiritual angels and highly vibrational beings.